enjoy the silence.
Flag on the play if you're not subscribed to Von Allen Sports. But once you are, we'll make it up to your team in the fourth quarter. You're watching Von Allen Sports, real and honest NFL analysis. Subscribe now and join the empire. Von Allen Sports, let's go.
If you're not watching Von Allen Sports, fuck you.
Von Allen Sports. Von Allen Sports.
Von Allen Sports on Patreon. Fuck you. I'm joining.
Von Allen Sports.
What's up, guys? How you doing? Well. Okay, so, as usual, I've got the Rumble thing open, so the Rumble's going right now. But you can also send a super chat there if you want, or you can go on Patreon and join on Patreon. Just let you know right off the bat, you can do that. We're going to wait just a second because we got started real fast and just give people time to get on here. Plus, I don't want to make the picks until, or the quarterback picks until everyone gets on. But how are you guys doing? So, right now, what's going on this week and how I titled the show. The title of the show was just having a little fun. If you saw the thumbnail, just joking around a little, don't take it too seriously. I mean, it's fun to talk about and stuff, but don't get all excited like there's some information out there or something that Brady is coming back. But it is fun to think about though, right? So, and we'll talk about it a little bit but I don't know. So we'll see. Wow, I like how Alpha Courage rearranged our advertisement. Thank you, Alpha Courage. We should do one. We should do a version of that like that too. So. All right. Come on, people, wake up. Where are you? Let's see here. I wish it would boom, just happen real fast, but it doesn't. That's just how it works. So maybe I need a longer intro, So, man, for those of you guys who've been around a while, he hasn't been on a long time, but there's a big VAS supporter out there named Addy Visorno. And if you remember Addy, he is our resident Browns fan, And could you imagine what Addy and presumably his new wife, because I think he got married, or he at least was engaged last year. Could you imagine Addy and his reaction if Tom Brady signed with the Browns? That would be incredible. Funnily enough, the Browns are actually 6-3 right now, and it's kind of an amazing thing. And what it is it's a good defense. They have a great offensive line. Deshaun Watson played majority of the games, but he missed a few, weren't that many games to begin with. He played okay. He played admirably. I mean, admirable. Bleh. He played well. Okay, whatever. But he wasn't playing like the Deshaun Watson. Remember, pre-massage stuff. But he was getting there. You could see that like he was getting back in the swing of things, and then bam, he's out for the season. So that sucks. Yeah, but it's just that would be worth it just to watch Addie's reaction. So I think someone's breaking into my home. Oh, it's Milena. You're late. You're late. Okay. You're late. You're late. You're late. You're late. You're late. Yeah. So. Yeah, that would be crazy. Milena, I was just talking about what Addie would do if Tom Brady was on the Browns. I don't know if you heard the news, but Deshaun Watson is out for the season. So there's people are just having fun with it. They're just speculating that Tom Brady is the number one choice for the Browns to call. Yeah. And I was just saying, like, could you imagine what Addie would do?
He'll get a divorce.
So yeah, that would be incredible. That would be worth it alone if that happened. But yeah, people are just having some fun with it, and it's stuff to talk about. When all this year, this is what's going to happen. All this year, anytime a contender or a team that looks like a playoff team loses a quarterback, they're going to bring up Tom. And this happened every time a famous quarterback freshly retires and people think that they still have something left in them. This happened with the old guys too. I mean, it happened with Marino. It happened with Aikman and Young, and people would be like, "Oh, do you think they could give it one more try?" Even though two of them had concussions that were probably causing cranial bleeding. But people still do this. People still talk. Even after Brett Favre's unceremonious ending in the Minnesota, people still talked the very next year. So it's how it is. I mean, really the only talk I don't think I've ever heard, I don't remember anybody wanting Peyton Manning back. But that's because we just saw just how god-awful he was at the end. So people knew that. But you usually hear this stuff. Now, I will tell you, all joking aside, okay, well, actually, before I say who they should go after, there's no doubt in my mind that Tom Brady could come back and help the Browns win some games, play well, to win a Super Bowl, I can't speak to that because we know how hard it is, and anything can happen. We also know that Tom would be in the Chiefs conference, and we know how that will go if it's close. So I think we've already established that. We have a $2 super chat from 146 Zigzag on Rumble. He says, with all the Hall of Fame talk, here's a suggested criteria. To be eligible, a guy have been considered top 5 at his position for more than half his career. So 60% of his career, he must be top 5. Okay. I like that. That's interesting because that's kind of how the quarterback formula works for the all-time quarterbacks. So what it does is it gives you points only if you're top 5 in a certain criteria. Why am I yawning so much? I'm not even tired. It gives you top 5. It takes top 5 of different criteria. So if you're like yards, you need to be top 5. If you're touchdowns, top 5. But you're saying top 5 in general, but we need how do we measure that? Like what constitutes a top 5? That would be the only thing that we need to know. But yeah, that's reasonable. Or they could just ask me. They could let me just do it. That'll be great. So. Zigzag sends a continuation super chat from Rumble. He says, also, since the average career is only 3.3 years, a player must have played twice that long, 6.6 or rounded up to 7, to even be in the discussion. So top 5, 60% of seasons in 6 to 7 years at least. That's not a bad proposal. Yeah. That's very reasonable. Very reasonable. I like that. Very, very reasonable. Yegar Tharn, you're the youngest in the... How old are you? But yeah, so and you know, we'll revisit that zigzag here in a second. Let me finish my first thought before I forget it. But with Brady doing that, if he was to come back, you would want him on the Browns, probably not with the Bengals. The Bengals' offensive line is complete garbage. That would be pointless. The Browns do have a good offensive line. They have good enough weapons that Tom could probably make something happen. He's not been playing. He's not been obviously he's not been in any kind of training camp or anything. But he does stay in playing shape, I hear, because you just never know. The greatest opportunity ever might come your way, and you want to be prepared for it. I don't think he's ever coming back. I think he's done. But you never know. Maybe something like the 49ers calling might just do it. They might just do it. But they're probably the only thing that's capable of doing it, of getting him back. If he tried to come back to the Browns, and I don't think there's really any problem with that. It's not going to mess with his legacy or anything like that. It'd be irrelevant because I just know there's no way that they wouldn't make the playoffs, and that in itself would be an accomplishment. And then let's say they got a playoff game. Let's say they won the wild card, because they're probably not going to catch up with Baltimore, so they're not going to win the division. So let's say they get a 5th, 6th seed, or the participation trophy 7th seed. They could get a win. They could get a playoff win, and then that right there, getting the Browns a playoff win, the first one since what? Belichick did it in the 90s, I think. So that in itself would be considered a success story, and everyone would be like, wow, and stuff like that. So it's possible, but I mean, it's possible that it could work out. Okay, the Browns team the roster is correct. It is proper for a guy who's 45. Okay, wait a minute, how old is he now? Isn't he 46 by now? I don't know. He's fucking old. Okay, so an old motherfucker coming back and not had been playing or everything, that would be a success story in itself, just getting them to the playoffs and then winning a wild card game. Okay, but in reality of things that could possibly happen, I think a good phone call would be if they want to consider an actual saving their season. Their backup quarterbacks suck badly. Okay, they're not just bad. They suck bad, like awful bad. Like they shouldn't even be allowed in the arena football bad. They're terrible. I don't know where they got those backups from, but they suck. They absolutely flat out suck. They need something. If you were talking about retired guys, Phillip Rivers is out there. I've heard that Phillip stays in game shape. He's still open, apparently, to the right situation. So you got Phillip. You've got Matt's out there, but I don't even know what Matt's doing. Like, is he? Where is Matt Ryan right now? I haven't checked on him in a while. Yeah, I know. What happened to Matt, right? Like, it's sad, isn't it? It's very unfortunate. So, you got a very opportunistic year again for the Kansas City Chiefs. Remember how I told you if you're going to get 7 Super Bowls, if you're going to get that many, whatever, one of the elements you need is luck, okay? And luck is an element that really is obviously out of your control, generally speaking, when it comes to like how things line up around you. Okay? You can only control your team, okay? And even with injuries on your team, you can possibly control that too, based off of having a good health staff and doing the right things, practicing the right way, and all that stuff. But what other teams are doing, you can't control that. So you need some luck there. And the Chiefs have a clean road, an open road again to the Super Bowl. The Cleveland Browns don't have Deshaun Watson. I don't even know if you could even include them as somebody who might have stopped them. But that's a good quarterback with a good team that's no longer there. So that's no longer a problem. Joe Burrow is out for the year. So sorry, sweetie. So the Bengals are not, and we know that Bengals are the only ones who've been able to give the Chiefs a problem. I do believe that, I know that the Bengals don't have a great record right now, but they're generally, that's how they've been, right? They in the regular season they're kind of weird, but then in the playoffs they seem to be able to get their act together, right? So that's not going to be there now. I think that the Bengals were good for a wild card spot, probably the 7th seed. If Burrow stayed healthy and everything, they probably could have beaten the Ravens had that game just gone a little differently at the beginning, and then there was no way they were going to have a chance. But either way, I think they would have pulled it together and probably got in. I think the AFC North is going to send 3 teams. We're possibly going to send 3 teams to the playoffs this year, but now that's kind of fallen apart. So they're out. Of course, you had the Aaron Rodgers Jets, and based off of what we've seen with the Jets, they just need a quarterback. Had they had a quarterback that can actually play football and actually knows how to play football, they would be much better right now and probably winning the division. In fact, I know they would be. If Aaron Rodgers was still playing, I think they would be winning the division. So you've got that Jets team as a threat. So that's gone. So you've got Aaron Rodgers, Deshaun Watson, and Joe Burrow, all 3 in the AFC, all gone. All were potential threats to the Chiefs in the playoffs. That only leaves the Baltimore Ravens with Lamar Jackson, who has a long history of choking and shitting the bed when he actually is in a game that matters. And the way he plays, he could be injured any week. One week he's not, one week he is. It depends. Anything could happen there. I wouldn't rely too much on the Ravens to get anything done. Remember, the Chiefs have to be blown out. They have to be defeated outright. You have to knock out the champ. In this case, leave it to the judges. The judges are going to go with the Chiefs every time. You can't do that. So I don't see the Ravens being able to do that right now. If they keep playing, maybe. If they keep playing well. But, again, I don't. Okay, on paper, the Ravens should be able to beat them. Like, if you look at how they're built and how they're assembled, the Ravens should be the perfect team that could beat the Kansas City Chiefs. But again, like I said, there's other factors. These are humans. They're not numbers on in a database. They're just so the numbers look good, but they mean nothing because the human has to go out there and play. And I just don't trust it yet. Maybe they can convince us with some more wins here and there, but and some impressive wins actually, not just winning. That's it. That's the Dolphins. They're okay. I do you trust them in the playoffs? Do you trust them to do anything? I really don't. And I'm not even counting the game overseas. Whoever won that game or whoever lost that game, I wasn't going to think less or better of either team. I don't like the overseas games, to be quite honest with you. But I just don't see right now anybody who is a threat to them. So there's the luck factor. So that's the luck factor playing in. Also, one good thing for the Chiefs that they have been able to do is that they don't have too many injuries. They seem to be pretty lucky in that aspect. Now I'm not talking about Patrick Mahomes' pretend injuries, so he can, LeBron his way to getting worshipped and all this stuff. So. Not talking about that. I'm talking about actual legitimate, real injuries that actually stop people from playing, not people who claim that they have a bum ankle, but yet they run around the field for 400 yards doing absolutely nothing. That's not what I'm referring to. So, right, Milena?
Yeah.
The Steelers? What about the Steelers? The Steelers, man? The Steelers are the same team they always are. Or the same team they've always been without Roethlisberger. Or actually, you could even say with Roethlisberger, but at the end. But they're a team that plays just well enough. They get some wins here and there. They're going to mean nothing in the end. There's nothing there. There's nothing really. There's nothing there at all. Actually, I mean, it's just another. It's a typical Steelers situation where they scrounge some wins together that are kind of like, okay, look, how'd they do that, and how'd they get that win here? And they get a win there, and they get a win there, but. When it comes down to it, they're not going to be able to compete at all with any team that actually can play. When at the end of the season, when things really matter, they've disappointed me too many times over the years. I've taken them a lot over the last decade or so. I've picked them to do things, and I've said I think they could do something here, and then it never works. It's not there. We have another super chat. We might need some more super chats because I got to get a new fucking chair. This is pathetic. It's driving me crazy. All right. Elf of Courage sends a $10 super chat on Rumble. Thank you so much, Elf of Courage. He says, if the Chiefs meet the Eagles in a Super Bowl rematch, should the Eagles start stacking their team prior to? What do you mean? What do you mean by that, Elf of Courage? Can you just clear that up just a little bit for me? Yeah, I get it. Nefertiti sends a $12 super chat, number 12, of course, for Tom Brady on Rumble. She says, for TB12's return, always an optimist. Let's go. I love it. I love it. Alpha Courage also sends a $5 super chat. Says, Youngblood played most of the 1979 season and into the Super Bowl for the Rams with a broken leg. Incredible. Yeah, that was those guys. I mean, you had to play if you wanted to get paid. If you had a family and stuff, you had to do that. Zigzag says, for example, he's talking about the Hall of Fame criteria. Zigzag says, for example, Tom made 15 of 23 possible Pro Bowls, so he was considered at worst a top 3 quarterback in his conference 65% of the time. Yeah, yeah, it's a pretty good framework there. I like it. I like it a lot, actually. In fact, although Zigzag, I would raise it even more. I would make it even more difficult. I'd still want it even higher. Like I said, I want to empty out the fucking Hall of Fame. I want to make it like a ghost town. You walk in there and there's just like, oh, him. Okay, like shit, you know. I'm talking about kicking out everybody. I don't want. If I had my way, I walk in and I make the Hall of Fame just. I'm talking super exclusive, like crazy exclusive. I walk in, I'm kicking out everybody. Maybe there's 8 quarterbacks in there total, like at all. Like I'm just, everybody's gone, you know. And don't get me started on a lot of positions that are just way overdone and way oversaturated there. So yeah, make it more difficult. Biop says, what's up? Okay, I've been thinking. So ideologies come in layers, from the core doctrines to the surface doctrines. Marxism is the core doctrine antithetical to the metaphysical substrate that is the backbone to Western culture. Its current form is postmodernistic, aka wokeism. Do you think Brady derangement syndrome is implicitly predicated on this ethos? I will not submit to your ideologue. Right, sweetie?
Yeah.
I will not concede the linguistic territory to your ideologue. Okay? Don't give me your shit. Okay, have you ever watched Jordan Peterson? You know what I'm talking about? Oh, and clean your room. Clean your room. Hey, Milena, clean your room. Hey, Amelia, clean your litter box.
Hey, Ramsey, clean your cat litter.
Ramsey, clean the litter box. Okay. Brady derangement syndrome is derived from Trump derangement syndrome, as in the fact that they have the same qualities. So basically, it means that you have been an entire conglomeration of media and idiots and haters have combined to discredit every single thing Tom Brady's ever done, and people are trained mentally to, no matter what he does, they just hate him. It doesn't matter. He could win 20 Super Bowls, and they're just going to continue to hate him because they can't. It's a mental illness. Now, do I think, like you're saying, it's predicated on that? No. I think it's actually more. It goes underneath more than that. It's actually a mental condition. It's where you cannot decide between your own bias and emotions and have an actual analytical thought that's not clouded by judgment. This is an important quality to have in life, is to be able to take your emotions out of it and remove yourself, and people don't do that. That's why do you think they spend hundreds of millions of dollars on presidential ads every time? You think they spend that money because it doesn't work? It does work. People are swayed by emotional arguments more than they are logical ones and analytical ones and factual ones and things like that. People cannot, you can show people two things. You can show them the emotional and you can show them the factual. And you can show them Tom Brady's got 7 Super Bowls. Every metric you want for a quarterback, he owns. I mean, there's nothing that he doesn't have. But then you could show them something like Deflategate, and all the media reporting on Deflategate. And that will even though the Deflategate was fake and a football error means nothing, they will choose that because that has an emotional reaction. Oh, he's a cheater, blah, blah, blah. I don't know, blah, 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 blah. They win too much. Oh, and the media is constantly telling you that he's a bad person and, oh, well, he's good looking too and he's a winner and all this stuff. I don't like that. My life sucks. I'm a piece of shit. So fuck him. Okay? All of these things are happening. Now, nobody actually thinks like that on the surface. They don't realize it's happening underneath. It's just happening to them. And so they're going to ignore all of the facts. They're going to ignore all the policy stuff in the reference to the original Brady hate syndrome. They're going to ignore the policy. They're going to ignore because it's like Joe Biden and Trump, for example. Joe Biden, oh, well, he's just Uncle Joe. He's Grandpa Joe. He's a nice guy. Blah, blah, blah. Okay, well, this nice fucking guy's about to start World War III and the entire fucking country's on fire. Okay, our country's burning down. Everything is out of control. But hey, we ain't getting any mean tweets anymore from Donald Trump. All right, whatever. So it's like when I say you vote for your president the way you pick your doctor. I don't need a doctor that's going to have a beer with me or tells me good jokes or says, oh, Aaron, you're such a good patient. I don't fucking give a shit. You can be the biggest asshole of all time. I want you to save my life. Okay, I want you to save my life. I don't give a fuck about anything else. I don't care if you're an asshole. I don't care if you're whatever you do. I don't care. Just save my life. I want the best. You should pick your president the same way, and that's causing that derangement syndrome. But it's all sourced in a flaw in the brain that doesn't allow people to choose, and that's why they can be swayed. This is why brainwashing works. This is why advertisements still work. This is why that fucking song, BK, have it your way, it still works. It works on stupid people. And people who don't have that in their brain, that cannot switch off the emotional. They can't get away from it. They can't just turn it off. They can't, push it. This is a big problem, and that's where Brady derangement syndrome comes from. It's an element of a underlying condition that you can't just, It's amazing, actually. It's amazing that so many people have this. It's actually frightening, but that is the way it is. So, but this is the emotional argument that people make. If you remember, during COVID, every time you could meet a rational person or talk to a person rationally, I had a lot of people I knew that I would be talking, they'd be totally normal. They'd agree with everything I'm saying about different things. But then you talk about the shot or whatever, and they go nuts on you, and they're like a completely different, like a psychotic person, or it's like, hey, are you trying to kill my mother, or are you trying to kill my grandmother, and are you trying to kill all the 90-year-old women? I'm like, what are you talking about? So see, the emotional re-argument works for them, and they don't think about the logical, and it's all the same. So it's the same with football. It's the same why you get haters. It's the same why now you're always going to have people who hate the best team or hate the best player or the dominant force. You're going to get a lot of hate there. But even those people, if they don't have the mental illness that is the source behind Brady derangement syndrome, if they don't have that, they'll still be able to respect it. Like, how many of you guys are actually fans of other teams? So what are you doing here exactly? This is a pro Brady channel. You came here most likely because you saw the Brady hate saga, right? So you stay here mainly because you're a Brady fan, I'm assuming. So, but a lot of you guys are fans of different teams. One of you guys is a Seahawks fan. Well, that's strange, right? So a Seahawks, Tom Brady took a ring from you guys. The Malcolm Butler thing, that's one of the most heartbreaking things a fan of a team could ever go through, is being a Seahawks fan in that Super Bowl. That hurts. I know what it feels like. I had to watch David Tyree catch a fucking ball on his helmet and then them lose the Super Bowl to Eli fucking Manning, okay? Twice. I had to see them lose to Eli Manning twice. And then I had to see them throw away a Super Bowl versus Nick Foles. So I get it. I know what that feels like. For you to be a Seahawks fan and still respect Brady and still like it, it means that you have a good mind. It means that you are able to remove the emotional and understand the bigger picture, and that's a great thing. So a lot of you guys, several of you guys actually, are fans of different teams. You're not even actually Patriots fans. That's what I find interesting. I have another friend, Z. He's a Raiders fan, and always been a Raiders fan his whole life. I mean, he's born and raised in Los Angeles. He's a massive Tom Brady fan, and Brady's legacy started out at the expense of the Raiders, but yet somehow he's able to overcome that mentality and not just having this emotional retarded reaction to it, and actually respect Tom. It's about how the mind works, really. So you've got to be able to judge anything at any moment and take emotion out of it when it matters. I'm talking about anything in life, not just a quarterback you like or a sports team or viewing that or whatever. And to be clear, I'm not talking about jokes. I'm not talking about joking around. I'm talking about like serious analysis. Like we joke around about the Chiefs and Patrick Mahomes and things like that. That's mainly aimed at delusional people that are like, oh my God, Patrick Mahomes is going to win 7 Super Bowls, and all that stuff. Well, they think that because they're not able to look at it in an analytical way. They're not actually able to say, look, this is really hard to do, but it's just, it pains me. It pains me to have to say the things I've said about Bill Belichick lately. You think I want that? You think I want to say those things? You think I want to believe those things about him? But there's a point where you have to say the truth. And there's a point to where you have to look at it and go, you know what? I got to pull myself away as a Patriots fan and look at this in an objective way. What is happening here? And you've got to be able to judge that. And that's just, you need to do that with everything.
Can you get that? Super chat?
Getting it right now.
Okay.
Elva Courage, since the $10 super chat, says, actually, both TB12's Pats and Steelers dynasty started with the Raiders in the postseason. That's true. So, of course, he's referencing to Terry Bradshaw, TB12, the first TB12. And that dynasty started, at the expense of the Raiders. That was the I honestly think that ball hit the ground. I do. I think if we had a proper replay, I think it hit the ground. But we didn't have a proper replay for it, and you couldn't tell. So the call stood, and the Steelers won that game. But that game didn't even lead to them winning a Super Bowl. But it was kind of the game that they won, and then it kind of got them into their winning ways. But it didn't lead directly to Super Bowl like the Raiders, the Tuck Roll did. So, but that is funny though. Poor Raiders, man. Poor Raiders. Thank you for those super chats, guys. I appreciate it. Let me catch up here with you dudes. What? You have something to say? Well, if you have something to say, you need to come down here. Israel says, Aaron, I bet you didn't know that Burrow has already been sacked more than Andrew Luck in 3 less games played. Luck has been sacked 115 times in 55 games. Burrow is at 148 sacks in 52 games. That's unreal. Are you freaking kidding me? Well, I knew he'd been sacked a lot. I know that the Bengals offensive line has always sucked, but you always have to find a balance. It's hard to get every aspect of a team that's elite. So they chose, weapons and stuff like that and they're going to have to pay those weapons soon. And the offensive line, they've really not paid attention to that much. Thank you, Israel, for posting that. That's shocking, actually. I didn't know it was that bad. I knew it was bad, but I didn't know it was that bad. Did Alpha Courage ever clear up what this super chat meant about Eagles stacking their team? I never got to address that. He paid $10 for it, so it's clearly important to him. Bitcoin Motorist says, I'm going to nominate Brady for an award. Not joking. I am helping organize an award show, and Brady will likely be a nominee. That's cool. Tell us more about it. If you're watching Von Allen, fuck you. Sports you. Thank you. Yes, Blind Assassin, that's correct. Biop says, but what you just said, inability to not be controlled by emotions, perfectly embodies the neo-Marxist postmodernist ethos. For example, all those social justice warriors that freak out are controlled by emotions. Well, they have that issue, that mental illness. If they didn't have that, they wouldn't be on the far left, because it doesn't make any sense. There's no actual factual support or any logical reason why you would support those things unless you had a mental illness, unless you had something wrong with you. That's just a fact. Bitcoin Motor says, the evidence that presidential campaign ads work is limited, at least on TV. Online targeted ads, however, that's a different story. I meant just advertising in general, actually. I don't know if I said only TV. I didn't mean that. I just meant ads. Like, they spend crazy amounts of money on ads. They work. So, holy crap, Night Train Lane was supposedly found in a dumpster as a baby. Whoa. if that's true, that's crazy. Who would put a baby by a dumpster? Like, what kind of piece of shit would do something like that? I've heard of people like putting like puppies and kittens next to dumpsters. It's crazy. I don't even understand. Alpha Courage does have a point here, guys. He says, it was also an emotional response that Von Allen sent the Inquisition after Yeager for drinking a Pepsi. That is true. That is true. Hey, nobody expects the Von Allen Inquisition. Does anybody get that joke other than Elf of Courage? It's Monty Python. Nobody expects the Spanish Inquisition. Blessed are the cheesemakers, sweetie.
Yeah.
Wait, what did he say? You guys ever seen Life of Brian? If you've never seen Life of Brian, you need to watch it. It's by Monty Python. It's about this idiot loser who's born and he keeps being mistaken for Jesus. So his whole life is parallel to Jesus's life, but he's a total loser. And a lot of people, a bunch of idiots, think that he's the Messiah, and they keep following him. So a bunch of idiots keep following, and it's really hilarious. And the opening of the movie, it all begins when Brian is a baby, and the three wise men show up at a manger, and they think Brian and his crazy mom is Mary, and they think Brian is baby Jesus, and they're mistaken. They're like, oh, crap. And then they go to the other manger to do the correct manger. But it all starts and it all goes downhill for Brian from there. But it's funny. But they're in the very back. They can't hear Jesus. And they're like, what did he say? And Jesus is giving his sermon, blessed on the mount, the sermon, blessed are the peacemakers. And they go, I think he said, blessed are the cheesemakers. And then they get an argument for why why are the cheesemakers so special? Anyway, it's a funny movie. You should watch it. Yeah, Yeager Tharn says, Al Davis traded Gruden for a bag of dicks only for Gruden to destroy the Raiders, not just in the Super Bowl, but the franchise. Yeah, so that's one thing on them. That's one thing they can't blame is that they had an emotional response to the Tuck rule, and it costed them dearly. So that kind of... Basically, the fact that the Raiders made it all the way back to the Super Bowl the very next year without Gruden tells me that if they had just kept Gruden, they probably would have won the Super Bowl. It probably would have. Like, who would have been the competitor? The Rams. So that would have, because the Bucs put out the Rams, right? So yeah, it might have gone that direction. Yeah. So interesting. Tyree Vaughn says, how do I send a super chat? I don't even see the icon to send it. It's on Rumble. Melanie, can you post the link to Rumble, please?
Sure.
Okay. Tyree, thank you so much, man. Melanie's going to send that link. Put it in the chat real quick. Bitcoin Motor says, it has to do with FTX, the Brady Award. It's a satirical award show called The Scammies, the Tom Brady nomination. I love it. Absolutely. Please roast Tom Brady for that. Absolutely. He deserves to be roasted for that one. You got to teach him a lesson. Never trust a company that is ran by Democrats. That's because if a guy's paying off Democrat politicians, you know that he's needing protection. That's protection money. That's what that is. That's hoping that the media is on your side. And you know something's up. And Bitcoin Motors, by the way, guys, we were talking about Sam Bankman-Fried, the guy who ran FTX. and created the scam. Bitcoin was actually on a podcast with him talking about that. Bitcoin, you should put the link in the... I'm afraid if I post it, they'll just give me a copyright strike or whatever. So last time I tried to do something like that, I got screwed over. So, but post it in the chat and people can watch it later. Cool buyouts. Thank you. You thought I'd be mad? Hell no, I'm not mad. Yeah, at Bitcoin.
Why?
For nominating Tom Brady for he got suckered in. I mean, like, no. Again, see, that's not emotional reaction. I don't. I mean, Tom made a bad investment. He got sold. He got sold some goods by a complete loser. I never would have given that guy $1.50. Okay, I wouldn't trust him with $1.50 to go buy me some bread. Although in today's Bidenomics, you can't get a loaf of bread for $1.50, but you get the point. But yeah, so how he fell for that is amazing, and even became the spokesperson for it. So yeah, he kind of deserves some criticism for that. I don't. He's not a god. He's a person. So. Someone brought up the Eagles and Chiefs, so we do have that rematch coming. But you know what? I'm going to do something real quick. Just pop it out of the way for you guys who are waiting. Let's get your quarterbacks for you, because I think everybody who's going to be here is probably here. So we only have 2 games left before the Super Bowl. Okay? So we're almost there, guys. And here we go. Let's do it. So. Okay. For those of y'all waiting for this, it's not going to take long at all. We've only got two matchups. On deck for right now is John Thomas Chavez and Blind Assassin. Let me get the dice. Milena, should I mention what we talked about last night? Just kind of float the idea, see what everyone thinks.
There's just
Yes or no?
think about it first.
Okay. All right. So first up, we have John Thomas Chavez. This is for the right to go to the finals, to play for an Xbox Series S, unless you're up for courage, and then I'm assuming he'll probably want something different. Okay. Because he won last year. All right. So, for your stat, for John Thomas Chavez and Blind Assassin, your statistic is 1 touchdowns. So I need a quarterback from you guys within, John Thomas Chavez, you're first. I need a quarterback from you within about a minute. Okay. On deck is Elf of Courage and Nightly Sinister. Kevin. Your statistic is yards. Okay, so you guys be thinking about who you're going to pick. Okay, John, so you're first. Actually, is he... Doesn't even look like he's here. Wow. Not picking your quarterback for the semifinals. That's weird. Is he here? There he is. He's going Brock Purdy. Wow. Interesting. for touchdowns. Okay. Blind Assassin, let's see. You're up now. Remember, Alpha Courage and Nightly Sinister on deck. So, Blind Assassin, I just need your quarterback, my friend. Going Goff. I like it. Okay, there you have it. Purdy versus Goff. John Thomas Chavez is Blind Assassin for touchdowns. Rushing touchdowns included. Alpha Courage, I need a quarterback from you, my friend, for yards. CJ Stroud. Yeah, he's been impressive this year a bit, hasn't he? Okay. Gonna roll for Nightly Sinister because I don't think he's here, but if he is, he can always correct me during the show. 3, and he's getting Mahomo. That's a tough matchup. He's going against the Eagles. So, I don't know. You might want to be on the show and correct that. Okay, so good luck to Alpha Courage and Nightly Sinister, who's got Stroud versus Mahomes for yards. And Purdy for John Thomas Chavez. Blind Assassin picks Goff for touchdowns. Good luck, guys. The winners of this weekend go all the way to the Super Bowl. Good luck, guys. Okay. Tyree Vaughn, let me get your super chat here. By the way, Tyree Vaughn is a console on Patreon. He is a tier 1, or tier 4, sorry. The highest one, the $50 a month one. I really appreciate it, Tyree, you and your wife and your family. You guys are awesome. Thank you so much. He says, $5 super chat. He says, I have to say I wish Bill would leave or retire. This team is in shambles. Don't get me started on his quarterback switch last week. I'm so tired of his bullshit and losing games and hurting this team. We need a new head coach. Yes, I agree. I had my meltdown on Monday night. I don't know if you caught it or not. Or wait, was it Sunday night? Yeah, it was Sunday night. It was Sunday night. Yeah, so Tyree, I don't know. I get the feeling that either Bill just can't coach anymore, or he's wanting to be pushed out. I don't know. I don't like the homerism though that I see from Julian Edelman. Edelman has always been about trying to be in the good graces of the Patriot fan base in the Boston area. he is very conscious of these things. And you can tell because over the years, he's always like Boston's strong and all this stuff, blah, 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 right? And then when he left the Patriots, he said, I'll never be anything but a Patriot. He's like really ingratiating himself to the local community and all that. Okay, whatever. But now he's blaming Mac Jones for everything that's wrong. And he just will not criticize Belichick. He just won't criticize the organization. He's so afraid to do that. But come on. Is Mac like a great quarterback or something that deserves my protection and my defense? No. I mean, but to think that he is this bad, or to think that he is the problem on this team, was it Mac Jones that threw the ball back to himself and so he could get smeared by Chandler Jones? Was it Mac Jones that's having all these fumbles and stupid decisions and all these game time or in-game scenarios that are just completely out of whack? No, this is a team-wide problem. Mac is a problem, but he's one of many problems. So that it's not just... If it was just Mac, then we would be talking about like a top 10 defense right now, top 5 defense on the Patriots, and he's the problem, and he's not getting, he's not helping the balance there. But this is even on special teams, which usually Bill Belichick special teams is usually good. Even they're doing stupid crap. It's a team-wide problem, and it makes you wonder, is Bill doing this on purpose just so he can get fired or get traded or whatever it is? I don't know what his contract says, but I don't know. But it seems like Mac is the target, and again, I don't mind Mac being targeted just in general because he's the quarterback. Quarterback, you touch the ball more than anybody. You have more control over the outcome of the game than any other player on the field. So it is about you. But in this particular case, we're seeing problems everywhere. So normally you can tell when it's the quarterback is the only problem. Like that, you can say, well, that team just needs a quarterback and they're good. No. The Patriots need more than just a quarterback. Even if they had a good quarterback, you give them Josh Allen and they'd still be the Bills right now, 5-5. You see what I mean? Like there's a bigger problem going on. Like with the Bills, there's a bigger problem going on with the Bills. Here's what the Bills' problem is. The coaching, they have a choke gene, and once you have that choke gene that kind of creeps into your organization, it's on the minds of everybody, and nothing you do is going to matter at that point. And the doubt and all that's crept in now, and that's just how it is. So. El Selector just started following on Rumble. Thank you so much, man. I appreciate it. Why was Ace's comments hidden? Was that an accident? Must have been an accident. I think you made a mistake. What in the world? Israel, did your account get hacked or something? Is that you?
Remove the rights for admin. I might do it.
Yeah, do it temporarily just in case there's something going on there. That doesn't make sense why Israel would do that. Okay, I'm just temporarily removing Israel as moderator. Just temporarily. Just make sure that's you. Because I don't see why you would start deleting someone's comments like that. Just in case his account got hacked.
Yeah,
So.
Bitcoin reinstated him.
Oh, okay, cool. All right. Yeah, Israel, if you'll just answer me and let me know that's you, and you just tell me that you didn't mean to or something. So. Well, Israel wouldn't do that to you. Not for something like that. He wouldn't do that. Okay. So going back to what I was saying about the Bills. So that doubt and that choking thing and that just all that has crept in now. And there's nothing they can do about it. So they can play, they can have good players and all that, but that's in their minds and that's in there, and they're going to have to do something about it. And so that's not a one fix thing. The Belichick Patriots are the same in the sense that there's not a one fix thing. Now their problem is a bit, the underlying problem itself is different, but it's still, it's a team-wide problem. It's not a quick fix. You could take Josh Allen, you could put him in New England, switch him with Mac, and both teams would still have the same issues because that's not the thing. That's not the deal. So.
Super chat?
Oh, got a new one.
I think.
Nice.
The elf one after read.
But just to finish up Tyree's super chat about the Patriots. So, Bill, they were, having a bad time in the game last week, and Bill all of a sudden against the Colts throws in the backup on the last drive. It's like, what are you doing? That's just sloppy, stupid, desperate coaching right there. And it just shows you the state of things. So, Elva Courage, since a $5 super chat, says C.J. Stroud versus weak Cardinals pass defense against Mahomes versus a stingy Eagles defense for yards. I'll see you all in the final. Yeah, that's a good matchup for you. I wish Nightly Sinister would have picked his quarterback because I wouldn't have done that. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I don't know if that's a good pick for Mahomes there. So, I mean, but that's what happens when you let the dice pick, right? Who y'all talking about? Justin Fields? Yeah, okay. Well, Justin Fields was always going to be a bust. I mean, that's a big part of a quarterback's, how they're going to be when they're drafted is about what team they go to. That's very important. But it's also if you can see that they just don't have what it takes. I'll tell you something. When Gruden had his quarterback camp, and every year you could he would interview the quarterback prospects for the draft. You could get more out of that than you ever could watching film or watching tape of these guys or watching workouts or whatever, okay? Just on Gruden's show alone, when he speaks to them and you see how they talk and how they are personally, and all those things tells you what you need to know. Tells you a lot. And so you could pretty much hit pretty well by watching just that show alone. We don't have that show anymore. So, but that show, watching that, was what sold me on Russell Wilson, even though he was a third rounder. So I saw something in him that was the defining moment. I was like, this guy's got something, and his maturity and everything and how he spoke and stuff. So that was so helpful with looking at quarterbacks. But Justin Fields, I could have told you, was never going to work. He's just, the NFL is so pathetic that it's such a copycat league, and and they copycat things that are for the stupidest reasons. The stupidest reasons. It's just unbelievable how they make decisions. And they're not even looking at the player as much as they as how they are as a player and what they'll be, as much as they are looking at the aesthetics of it. And that's happening now, that's trending now, so we're going to pick this guy, blah blah blah. Instead of just going with the guy that you think will fit your system and how your team works and how good they are and how well they present themselves, and will they be a good teammate, will they be a good leader, and all these things, and they decide to go and just copy it. I've seen this so many times. It's absolutely pathetic. So, what's up? Do rushing yards also count? Yes, all yards count. Even if your quarterback caught a pass, they count. Yeah, Bitcoin's got me. There you go. Are y'all seriously having an argument who's better, Justin Fields or Zach Wilson? Like, seriously? This is like an argument on who's better, dog shit or cat shit. Like, seriously? I'd have to give it to Zach, though. I'd have to say Zach's better because, like, he fucked his friend's mom or something. So he's obviously the better one. It has nothing to do with football, but Lamar Jackson with 2 Super Bowls will be the GOAT. End of story. I'll believe that when Lamar Jackson gets a playoff victory that matters. Then we can start talking about that. Hey, I would love for the Ravens to go to the Super Bowl this year. That would be awesome. But we're going to have to see something from them more than that. So, who is better, Ryan Leaf or Johnny Manziel? Ryan Leaf was the better overall quarterback. But that's this. Yeah, I get it. That's the same what I just said. It's comparing dog shit. So. Remind me, guys, does Lamar Jackson even have a playoff victory? He has one, right? Like, he has like a wild card victory, doesn't he? I'm pretty sure he won a wild card. Come here, kiddo. You want to get on the mic? Huh? You want to get on the mic? No? All right. Sorry, my leg was falling asleep there. All right. Yeah, but didn't they lose one of their best players recently? They lost their tight end, didn't they? Wow, so some dude drops in the chat with about Lamar Jackson and doesn't even come back for the conversation. Oh. That was lame. Oh. What you doing, dude? You guys know what is awesome to eat just by itself? Apple Jacks. But let me tell you something about Apple Jacks. There are things in this world, okay? There are things in this world that I have always wondered about and want answers to. One is, are we alone in the universe? 2, what happens after we die? 3, and I've wondered this since I was a kid. There's 2 colors of Apple Jacks. There's the green, which the green screen is picking up, and then there's the orange. Are they the same flavor? Are they the same? Do they taste the same? Because are they meant to be a different flavor? I don't know. But I don't think so. I think they're the same. I think they're like M&Ms, right? So different colors, but yeah. So that's something that's bothered me since I was young. And I don't know if we're ever going to find out unless we talk to the makers of Apple Jacks, and maybe they'll tell us. Milena, I think that's important. Okay.
Very deep.
It's very deep, yeah.
Philosophical. We're going to have to do a poll.
Buy a cups. Remind me again, how old are you? Okay, so Blind Assassin says that the green is apple and orange is cinnamon. But they taste exactly the same as far as I can tell. But that doesn't mean anything. Maybe I'm off. I don't know. Biopsy is 20. So you were 13 when Trump became president. You said you don't remember a president before Trump. Really? You don't remember Obama? I mean, Reagan was president until I was 9 or 8. I'm sorry, he was president until I was 9. I remember him very well. Oh, I get you. You mean you weren't paying attention? And yeah. I understand what you mean now. Yeah, I get you. Okay, that makes sense. He remembers Big Mike? Okay. Let me, I forgot to do this, but the updated list. Okay, you were joking about the Lamar thing? Well, I knew you were kind of messing around, but I didn't know if you were a Lamar fan or something like that. But hey, a lot of people say some crazy stuff. Like people say that Mahomes is going to get 8 Super Bowls and all this stuff. I mean, so you just never know. It's funny. I remember Troy Aikman made the smartest comment on Twitter. He said people were comparing him to Mahomes. They're saying Mahomes is better than him or something. And he goes, yeah, Mahomes can call me when he's got 3 Super Bowl rings. Well, Patrick has got 2. He's almost there. I wonder if he's going to call Troy Aikman. Troy Aikman's a douche. What a douchebag. I think him and Joe Buck are fucking. I think those two. I think during like halftime they blow each other in the booth there. Yeah. Speaking of which, guess who Tom Brady was having dinner with the other night? Erin Andrews. She made your shirt. She's the sideline reporter that always gets all red faced when Trump or when Brady talks to him talks to her. Yeah. Okay. So it's not a dating thing. Erin, first of all, is married, I think, but they've always been friends. But I'm just wondering, could that be a sign that they're going to pair them together for commentators? Is, maybe that, some people have kind of mentioned that, like, is that possible? Could Erin Andrews and Tom Brady be a pairing for broadcast next year? That'd be interesting. What the hell are y'all talking about? You guys are weird. They have their own conversations, and it's just so strange. And I pick them up like in the end of whatever's being said. Ramsey go boom boom? Yeah. Oh yeah, I agree, Yar Tharn. Nothing beats Jerry Lawler and Jim Ross. So I always thought Ross was going to have a heart attack every time Stone Cold Steve Austin came out. The rattlesnake is back. Oh my God. The carnage. Yeah. That was back when WWE was awesome. I grew up in the Raw is War era, what they call the Attitude Era. So I can't pronounce this guy's name, so I'm not even going to try. I'm just going to read his comments. Marcellus Wiley was the only one after the Bucs-Chiefs Super Bowl who dared to say that Mahomes played poorly. Everyone else praised him. Listen, Mahomes is the chosen one, and there's an agenda for why that he is and why they want it so bad. And I think if you watch a lot of people who are praising him, I think you can figure that out. But there's no matter what he does, it's going to be forgiven. It's going to be excuses are going to be made, blah, blah, blah. But they just got dominated. They got dominated by the Bucs, and I've never seen an incomplete pass praised more in my life. I just don't understand it. Mahomes threw a baseball throw. It's a baseball throw. If you're a baseball player, you can make that throw. That is a very common throw, okay? Well, Mahomes played baseball his whole life. His dad was a Major League Baseball player. Russell Wilson can do that throw. Why? Because Russell Wilson also was a good baseball player. Kyler Murray can make that throw. It is just a baseball throw. It is not a big deal, okay? It's just, and it was incomplete. Who cares? So But they made a big deal out of it, and they made a big deal of him running around like an idiot the whole time. Well, he didn't have to run. That's not a compliment. That's not a good thing. He ran around like an idiot because he doesn't know how to read defenses. That's why. So he did running around all day long. It's just, well, that didn't help you, did it? So with that exact situation, it helps you sometimes. It depends on the defense you're playing. But they had your number this time. But they're always going to find an excuse for him no matter what you do. Who? Jalen says, you and Harvey from TMZ had the same thought, but Aaron is a sideline reporter. Tom will be in the booth, and they won't be paired together. Huh. Well, I just thought that maybe Aaron is wanting to move up into commentating. Maybe, I don't know. I mean, it makes sense. You know, it makes sense. If that's what they're doing, it makes sense that they would meet. You know, so meet together. Brady was a catcher. Yeah. The Montreal Expos, didn't they draft him? Are you kidding me? Did Jalen just say that? Jalen says, I don't think Mahomes played that much worse in Super Bowl against Tom Brady than when Brady played the Giants in 07. How high are you? Well, it's Jalen. I bet he is high. You must be too high. Like that must be some good shit that Jalen's smoking right now. Jalen, put down the weed, as Stephen A. says. You might have gotten a bad batch. You might have gotten some hallucinogens in that shit. Ryan Dyer says, I want Brady and Marshawn Lynch to do commentating together. Now that would be good shit right there. Stay off the weed. Okay, let's see here. Okay. LA Rams versus the Seattle Seahawks. Oh, please. This is Seattle all the way. Cleveland Browns versus Pittsburgh Steelers. The Browns' backup quarterbacks are absolute garbage. Like I said, terrible. The Steelers, though, they don't have a quarterback either, really. They're winning games despite him. This is a difficult one, but I'm going to... Even though their quarterback sucks, I'm going to say Cleveland. Kansas City versus Philadelphia. That will be a close game, which means it will go to the Chiefs. LA Chargers at Green Bay. I'm going Green Bay here. I know the Chargers are favorite there, but Denver versus Minnesota. I think Denver's starting to kind of like put it together. I don't see the Vikings playing that well in Denver, so I'm going to go Denver. Baltimore versus Cincinnati. Well, that's pretty obvious at this point. since it already happened and we lost Joe Burrow. Houston versus Arizona. Houston. Jacksonville versus Tennessee. Yawn. You're going Jacksonville here. Buffalo versus the New York Jets. Buffalo? Okay. Detroit versus Chicago. Detroit. Washington versus New York Giants. Yawn. My God. Who cares? Who gives a shit? The Giants are going to shock everyone and win that game. All right. Dallas at Carolina. Dallas. San Francisco versus Tampa Bay. San Francisco. 13-point favorite. Wow. Miami versus the Raiders. Miami. Wow. So, okay, this is the easiest picks I've ever made. My God. All right. I don't even understand how people smoke weed so much. It fucked me up one time. Like, it was one of the worst experiences in my life. I actually thought I was going to die. I thought I was going to have a heart attack. So I guess it's not for everybody. Certainly it wasn't for me. So. Yeah, weed has weed smells kind of like a skunk. In a way, it reminds me of a skunk. It's kind of strange. What do I think of Mike Tomlin as a coach? See, that's interesting. It's tricky because he seems to have a way to get his players to play for him. They seem to play well for him. He's had turnover, with the coordinators and stuff, but yet they still win. So I think he's pretty good. Obviously. But there's a lot of disappointments when he had Ben Roethlisberger, who was playing some really good football, and they still found ways to lose. So I think he's one of those coaches that's just good enough to win during the season, but I don't know if it's the talent, acquiring the talent, that's the problem. Because he's had good players before, and they just never were able to make anything happen other than very early on. And, of course, they won the Super Bowl in 2008, but it's a very long time ago. Since then, I guess, is what I'm thinking of. Of course, never had a losing season, so that's a good thing. So that's why I say I think he's a good coach. If it wasn't for those things, I would have a much harsher view, but you can't argue with year in and year out, at least not turning in a crappy performance. And I can appreciate that. And I can appreciate not tanking, and they never did that. And they never, were interested in something like that. And I really I have an appreciation for that. But I think there were some wasted years when he had Roethlisberger. I think the Super Bowl against the Packers was a winnable Super Bowl for them. I think the Steelers could have won that game and perhaps should have won that game, but after that, it was just they just weren't able to get anything done. And to their defense, they did get to the AFC Championship in 2016, but they just ran into Tom Brady, and that just always happens to them. If they run into Brady, they're going to get put out. But the years that they made the Super Bowl were the years where Tom or Peyton were already removed and they didn't have to face them. So I would say that there's the upper echelon of coaches, and I'd put Tomlin like right underneath. I'd put him with like Harbaugh. They're like very similar to me, in my opinion. right now there's the untouchable, which is Andy Reid. He is by far and away the best coach in the NFL right now. There's not even, I can't think of anybody that can touch Andy Reid. And then there's the next tier, and right under that, and I think I would put Tomlin there as one of the best coaches in the NFL right now. So I'd put him with Harbaugh and put him with Carroll. But with Carroll, it's more of just his overall body of work. But he does have that Seattle team playing pretty decent, even though he doesn't have a, quote unquote star quarterback. I know Geno's there, but that's still pretty impressive. He was the coach who had the Legion of Boom, and they went back-to-back Super Bowls. And then so just like I give Tomlin credit for the 08 and 010 Super Bowls that he made it to, you still got to give Carroll credit for those things. So I'd still put Carroll in there with Tomlin and Harbaugh. Yeah. So now if we're talking complete legacy, then you've got to put Belichick in there too. But let's say if you want to go, let's say the most recent, let's say 5 years. Last 5 years. 5 years is a good round number. So you've got Andy Reid, untouchable. Then there's just everybody else. It's like America and everybody else. It's like superpower wise and stuff like that. So. This upcoming Chiefs-Eagles matchup likely will decide the NFL's top dog, at least for now. Yeah, like I said, if that's a close game, the Chiefs are gonna win straight up. There's, unfortunately for the Eagles, and you'll see something glorious happen.
Glorious days.
Huh?
Glorious days.
Yep. Tomlin is better than Matt LaFleur and Bill Belichick. Matt LaFleur? Who isn't better than Matt LaFleur? Matt LaFleur is the greatest coach I've ever seen. Matt LaFleur is one of the greatest examples of a coach completely made by his quarterback. Completely, absolutely. When we're talking about, modern era coaches right now, like all the new guys, like he is just, it was all about Aaron Rodgers being there, the whole thing. He's so cocky, he thought it was him. And look what happened. What a loser. Jalen says, we couldn't disagree. Tomlin is the best coach in the league, and it ain't close. What? Okay, Jalen. I don't know what kind of weed you're rolling right now, but there's something in it. There's something in it. So usually you're good for a few good takes per night, but tonight you were just it's not working, my friend. It's not working. It's not going. Put down the weed. Okay? So, no, Patrick Mahomes' performance is not comparable to 2007 Patriots versus Brady versus the Giants. And no, Mike Tomlin is not the best coach in the league. And you put, it's not even close. So not only did you say that Mike Tomlin is the best in the league, which is absolutely just ridiculously not true, but you said not close. Like you added to it. That's interesting. I think you're just having some fun right now. I don't think you believe these things you say. Weed is interesting for you tonight. Okay. Tomlin, like I said, Tomlin is good enough. He's good enough. But listen, 9-8, 8-8, all 10-8, whatever hell he's or 10-6 before they added the stupid extra game. All those things, they don't really mean a whole lot to me. But you're saying now, like currently, that would be the worst argument, is to argue for Tomlin now. You'd have at least a better chance bringing up his early career and then trying to add that to it and like pad it, like I was, giving him that respect a while ago. But to say that he's currently one of the best, that's the worst argument to make for Tomlin, because it's not been pretty. So I have way more reasons to pick on Tomlin now than I ever did before. I never went after Tomlin before, actually. I still am not going after Tomlin. But you're kind of forcing me if you're going to say that he's the best coach in the NFL. Jolly, go to the Rumble. Milena, post the Rumble. Did you post the Rumble link?
I'll post it again.
Yeah, post it for Jolly Jumper. He wants to send a super chat. Jolly Jumper says, "Stop, man. Stop. I'm a Steelers fan, and that ain't true." Yep. I know, Yegar. Yeah. He says VAS needs a Brady hate saga on the donut hole of from 05 to 13. That could be a good one right there. You hear that, Milena? The Brady hate saga.
Yeah. I posted the link.
Ryan Dyer says, Jalen's next take. Baker Mayfield is the best quarterback, and it's not close. I don't know. I think Jalen might be fucking with us, honestly. He would never compare Mahomes' performance to Brady. I don't think he'd ever do that and be serious. Maybe he was hacked. Did we ever hear from Israel after that incident?
Not sure.
Yeah. Elvin Courage, since the dollar super chat, says, actually, the greatest quarterback is the one who beats Mahomes. That quarterback is better than all those dudes ever were. Absolutely. Yeah. I don't know. See, Jalen, you were building up really, really good credibility for your Belichick takes over the years, and now you're just knocking it all down with saying Tomlin is the best head coach in the league, and it's not even close. I just have a hard time with this one. I really do. I don't. It's clearly Andy Reid. Andy Reid is the best coach in the NFL, and it's not close. Like, who would you say? Look what Andy Reid has done as the Chiefs head coach. Look. I mean, it's just unbelievable. And we know it's not a Bill Belichick thing with him. Completely sucking until he had the certain quarterback. I mean, Andy Reid has taken some quarterbacks that weren't really supposed to be special, and he's made a lot out of, a little in that respect. So at least we know that it's not a Belichick Brady thing. Definitely not. Andy Reid somehow always is able to stay relevant, even though the league changes. Because the league has passed Belichick by, and he's not willing to change with it. He's not even willing to adjust even for a little bit. Andy Reid seems to be able to just, every time a huge change happens, he's able to just maneuver with it. It's really, really incredible, actually. Yeah, okay. Well, everyone thinks Kenny Pickett sucks and Steelers are 6-3 right now. Well, the Browns are 6-3 as well. Okay, so, but that doesn't mean that it doesn't make me say that he's the best coach in the league because he's 6-3 with Kenny Pickett. I mean, what does that mean? That's not enough. That's just settling. That's just settling for mediocrity and trying to raise mediocrity up like it's acceptable. If Bill Belichick was 6-3 right now, we'd be shitting on him. If they, based off of the past, so we'd be like, that's not good enough. With Tomlin, we're talking about a guy who has won a Super Bowl and coached in 2 Super Bowls. And now we're saying he's great because he's 6-3 with a shitty quarterback. I don't know. I don't know. I don't see. I mean, because you're wanting to put him up there on this high level, and when you do that, we've got to start, picking apart. We have to start being very, very. It's just, you know what I'm saying? Let me look up something real quick. I'm curious, kind of pertaining to this. Give me just a second. So the Steelers have had a general manager for the last 2 years named Omar Khan. Before that was Kevin Colbert. He was there for a long, long, long time. Like even when Cowher was there, he was there. So at least we can't say that it's all Tomlin's fault about the quarterback or whatever. With Bill is in complete control, and this is why I don't get how people can just say that. Okay, I'm not joking. All right, I've had this problem on X with some Patriots fans saying, well, if Bill had that roster, if he had the Bills roster, if he had the Lions roster, I'm thinking, Belichick's not a quarterback who is at the mercy of some crappy roster that he has no control over. Bill is the general manager. So you can't, that's like a stupid argument to make. That doesn't even make sense. Then, what are you supposed to do with that? Mike Tomlin is given a team and he coaches the best way he can and tries to win games. And that's why I put him on the second tier. I think that's very reasonable. And I think that's a huge compliment to him. So, but like I said, the Steelers, even when they had Roethlisberger the last 10 years before he retired, disappointed me quite a bit, where I would pick them as like a dark horse candidate to go to the Super Bowl or something like that. They never come through. They just never did. And it was all fun games at the beginning. It was working working well in the beginning, but then ever since then. So now we're talking about currently, not a lot has happened. But again, I'm still giving them props. I'm putting them on the second tier, which is with Harbaugh and Carroll. So I think that's more than generous, actually. I would absolutely love to see the Steelers with a really good quarterback. That would be freaking awesome. I would love to see what would happen with that. One of my favorite players is a Pittsburgh Steeler, who is T.J. Watt. And I couldn't believe that Bill Belichick didn't try to go after that kid in the draft. And I don't even know how he fell so far. Like, I don't get it. I mean, it's just infuriating. Leafy Blue says, since the dollar super chases, just wanted to say, love you, Vaughn. Now got a Rumble account and all set up too. Awesome, man. So thank you so much. Please subscribe on Rumble there too. So I'm trying to get that going. So once we get a certain amount of subscribers, I'm going to start. I might start posting some different stuff over there too. So I'd really like to get that going because YouTube demonetized me. So it'd be nice to have a backup plan. So if they ever just suspend me for whatever reason. So we were so lucky, Alpha Courage. I think Leafy Flu is Jolly Jumper because he was just asking about it. Alpha Courage says, makes you realize just how good the NFL product was with Brady, Manning, Breeze, and that powerful conference. When Breeze was a Charger, you mean? We were spoiled, and I knew we were, and I've been hoping that would get that, and I thought we were kind of getting that, but now it's another setback because Burrow's injured, he's out, and Deshaun Watson's out now, and this playoffs, it's just going to be led. All these teams are going to be led by quarterbacks that nobody cares about. That doesn't even matter. It's just another cakewalk for the Chiefs. Okay, whatever. So, but I'm really, really pulling for the Lions. I want to see them do well. I want to see Jared Goff do well. I want to see him stick it to the Rams, and just show that he can play, because I know he can play, and I think it'd be good for football for a team like the Lions or the Browns, for example, to be good. I think it'd be interesting to watch. I'm sick of the mediocrity and even less than mediocrity in some cases from these teams. And it's time they do something. It's time they actually start performing. How long has it been? Detroit and Cleveland are some of the oldest teams in the NFL, and you've never even played in a Super Bowl. That's disgraceful. Okay? Absolutely disgraceful. How many teams does that leave now that's never been to a Super Bowl? So, AFC, let me see. AFC East, all four have gone. Only the Bills have never won. You got AFC North, Steelers have won. Baltimore Ravens have won. The Browns have never been, and the Bengals have been 3 times but never won. AFC South, you've got the Colts have won. The Texans have never been, but I can forgive them a little more because they have only existed since 2002. The Titans have been, even as the Oilers, they've only been once, and they've never won. So Jacksonville Jaguars, they've been close. They've been to championship games twice, I believe. But they're fairly new, too. They've only been around since the 90s. But so have the Ravens, and although they didn't have an expansion roster, so that's a little different. Then you've got the AFC West. So the Chiefs have won, of course. You've got the Chargers who've... Holy crap, the Chargers have never played in a Super Bowl. That's... Oh, yeah, they did. 94 against... They got beat by the 49ers. So they have played in the Super Bowl. They've just never won. Let's see. The Raiders have won, obviously. And you got the Denver Broncos who've won. Okay, so that's the AFC. So that leaves the Browns, Texans, and Jaguars who've never been. Okay. On the NFC side, Dallas, NFC East, everybody in the NFC East has won a Super Bowl now because it was the Eagles who hadn't done it, but they won in 2017, so they finally, that whole division is good. So Bears have won, NFC North. Bears have won, Packers have won, Detroit's never been, and Minnesota has been, but they lost a lot in the 70s. So that's just Detroit in the NFC. And you've got NFC South. You got the Bucks have won, the Saints have won, the Falcons have been twice, never won. And the Carolina Panthers have been twice. Once in 2003 against the Patriots, and then in 2015 against the Broncos, but lost both of them. Incidentally, lost to 2 of the greatest quarterbacks ever, Peyton Manning and Tom Brady. And that leaves the NFC West. So that's 49ers obviously have won. The Rams have won. The Seahawks have won. And the Cardinals have been 2-1 and never. So there's only a very few teams. That leaves, 4 teams that have never been to the Super Bowl, never played in the Super Bowl. And 2 of them are 2 of the oldest teams ever, right? So that's absurd. That's absurd that you couldn't even reach it. Like, you couldn't even just get to one. You couldn't get to one, like, all this time. It's kind of embarrassing. So... Alrighty. I guess that's it. I don't think I have anything else to talk about right now. I don't know if you guys like chess or not, but I'm on chess.com. So if you like playing chess, friend me on chess.com. We'll play a game or something. So just look me up. I'm the only Von Allen on there. So at least I think so. So pretty easy to find. Milena's on there as Nefertiti Nikolova. So if you guys ever want to play, hit me up. All right. Thank you guys for being here tonight. I really appreciate it. Thank you for all your super chats, guys. I really appreciate that so much. Also, make sure you sign up on Patreon. Jolly Jumper, I noticed that you haven't been here in a while, so I want to make sure you know. Go to go to patreon.com/Von Allen. The link is pinned into the top of the chat. Sign up because the new tournament will be coming soon. This tournament ends next week, so make sure you get in there for the new tournament. So, for all of you guys who are already on Patreon, you're automatically entered back into the tournament for the next one. Okay? Thank you guys so much. I really appreciate all of you, and we'll talk soon. Okay? I might go live for Monday night's game, Chiefs Eagles. I think that's a Monday night game, right? So I think that might be worth it. That might be something fun to do. Okay, thank you guys so much. I'll talk to you soon. All right. And let's see. Yeah. Okay. Good night, guys.
Von Allen Sports on Patreon. Fuck you. I'm joining. If you're not watching Von Allen Sports, fuck you.
This is Patriots linebacker, Super Bowl 49 champ, Darius Fleming, and you're watching Von Allen Sports. Real and honest NFL analysis. Subscribe now. Join the empire. Von Allen Sports, let's go!
Hi, this is tennis player Mariana Dragic, and you're watching Von Allen Sports, real and honest sports analysis. Subscribe now and join the empire. Von Allen Sports, let's go!
Von Allen Sports.